Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party. No Rhett. I actually only have like five, maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes absolute maximum to make video this morning on this at this point because I have to babysit my granddaughter. But so yesterday when I started my F12, um, when I started this video, I was like thinking I was gonna be done. Right? It was like, okay, I'm gonna be done. But I did know that I do have a sort of a um put that there. Sort of a experience where deployment is always weird and all that. And 9 times out of 10, whenever I've had to do a deployment that I get pulled into, I rarely get pulled into deployments. Generally, that's like a level higher than me. But if I do get pulled in deployments because something's going horribly wrong, and it's like we have to get this done, like there's a whole bunch of people all set up to do work the next day or whatever, and we got to get this done. So, we all get together and come up with a solution. Um, but this is weird, right? Like this is so freaking weird. So this is the net. See, we get a 404, but the application still works. So I think what happens is GitHub.io must be configured to, if it gets a 404, to then attempt to give it like attempt to do something for routing. So and then over here on this, we had set up the HTTP access that says, hey, anytime you get anything that's beyond voice, go ahead and feed it back to the index page. Okay, so why? Why is that? Well, so like if you were to go back, like I remember it was like 2002, 2003, where I was working at a place and we had a QA, and the first thing the QA would always do is turn off JavaScript, and he expected the whole application to work with JavaScript turned off. And back in those days, basically it was very simple. Basically, you had a page, you had a URL, it had a directory structure, and then there was a file in that matching directory structure. Well, one thing that came out very clear very quickly was that when you do that, what happens is you have to reload the whole page, and it's slow and awkward and all that. So basically, a massive effort was made to make what they called Web 2.0, and that's where pages just automatically reload. And in order to be able to accomplish, so that was good, except the problem is you couldn't create links to things, right? Like you try to create a link to something, but since everything was on the page and you would have to go through, you couldn't say, hey, this record is messed up. Here's a link to it. Go take a look at it because you had no URL up there at the top. Everything was just what they called a SPA, a single page um, application. So I was like, well, we need deep linking and we need that. So basically, what we ended up doing was hacking. And the hack was that we made like HTTP access where it always redirects things or something like that. But now that has broken um, the way the video works, right? So when I try to look at this video, we get this, where it tries to get this from ilikeemail.com. And um, yeah, so that's messed up. And I don't know what we've changed because we did some builds yesterday. And then over here, when we go, we get something different. So it tried to get it from, yeah, GitHub. So both of them try to get it from the very top. And that was a mistake because we want things to be referenced lower. And I don't know exactly how this is set up. They did something at GitHub that was very clever to get things to work, but now this is broken. So Angular, I mean, ChatGPT gave us a solution, and that solution was to basically change like 5 files and make like specific builds for every destination, which is not something I want to do. It's something that I've seen done everywhere. That's why I sort of was like, good. Well, first of all, I wanted everything to be done to yesterday, and I couldn't. So then I wanted everything to be done today, and that was going to be the only way. Alternatively, so that was the solution they gave it. I don't like that solution, and the reason I don't like that solution, there's only one reason. I think it's a beautiful solution. I have no problem with the solution. I just don't like it because I want to be able to drop this file anywhere, this application anywhere, and it just work. I don't want to have to do that. So I think the answer is to, and this is not the most elegant solution. This isn't as elegant, but I think to create a service that knows how to determine where the how to use file is supposed to be. MPEG is supposed to be. I think that is the solution. Yes, it sucks. This was supposed to be done. This is supposed to be done like months ago, and we are still working on it because a new property showed up, and we wanted to do the new property, and that ended up being a complete waste of time. It wasn't a waste of time because I ended up doing an existing property that we needed to do. Can't even remember what that was. I need to get off here in a second. My wife's about to go crazy on me. I think it was interim results that we ended up adding that, but we have process locally and interim results. Theoretically, we probably should. Ideally, we would add this phrases, but I just don't think it's going to work, and I just refuse to waste more time on that. But anyway, so I want to actually build a single solution and figure it out. I don't know if that's going to be the best solution, but I want to figure it out, and I want to be able to speak to this better. I don't want to be like this elite sort of just do it the way I say do it. I want to actually understand what is happening and take a step back and get that going. So that is what I'm going to work on next week. I don't think it's going to take very long, but I can't be sure. But I want to avoid like sort of the tried and true creating builds and environment files and all that stuff, which is a great way to do it. And you can find a million tutorials on how to do that. I think I believe they're out there. That's how I figured out how to do it. Um, but I would rather have like a one size fits all solution, even if it is hacky, because this is all hacky. Of course, when you have this hack, you have to build a hack to fix it. So, anyways, happy coding, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. In an hour or so, I should be back on to, well, I'll start working on my other video for Three.js in about an hour after my son picks up our granddaughter, little Ella. Happy coding. Bye.